Hey guys, welcome back to another snapshot video. This week's snapshot was mostly about fine-tuning some of the features that got added in last week's snapshot, so not much to report on that is relevant to the actual gameplay, so I'm gonna make it quick. One of the things that got changed in this week's snapshot was the way camels walk to make it more realistic. So in last week's snapshot I'm currently in, camels walked like cats. So when they move their left front leg forward, they also move their right hind leg forward. And it's actually not what they do in real life. Then there's another thing that was still possible in last week's snapshot, to hang the hanging sign from a fence gate. You opened it, it still popped. This is also no longer possible in this week's snapshot. And let's quickly take a look at the camel spawn egg. Now let's switch to this week's snapshot. Okay, let's see those camels now. Now their legs are synchronized for each side. And it's also no longer possible to attach a hanging sign at the underside of a fence gate. The reason is it looked a little bit odd this way. Right, then also let's clear up some confusion about the hanging signs from last week. So I didn't really get that the type of hanging sign that you attach at the underside of a block depends if you press shift or not. So if you just press right click, then you have the two chains on the side just going up straight, and if you press shift, they will connect towards the middle. And the color of the camel spawn egg changed. It's a bit more yellow now. There are also a couple bug fixes that I think are really relevant for PvP. Not a big PvPer myself, but it should also be interesting for normal gameplay. It's now possible to correctly block the damage of explosions with a shield. So this would affect, for example, a ghast fireball, TNT, and you can even completely mitigate the damage that is done by a end crystal. So we're gonna just shoot an arrow into this block here. Then with a bit delay, we will just drop down the arrow. Okay, let's go to survival mode. Get next to the end crystal, and bam, didn't take any damage at all. Also, a ghast fireball can now be correctly blocked. Let's see. There we go. Oh, I hit the camel. So there's still the fire around. But there's actually another bug fix that is actually relevant to that. You can now use splash water bottles to extinguish mobs and yourself if you're on fire. So if you, for example, also step accidentally in lava, like we have over here, you're burning for a certain amount of time, don't need to go to a cauldron or something like that, just throw a splash water bottle. This change also affects all other types of mobs. If you, for example, set your pet on fire, not really the Ravager, but if you maybe have a horse, you can now extinguish it with the water bottle. It would work on a zombie daytime. I'm not sure though how relevant the splash water bottles would be for PvPing. I asked a couple people that are into that, and they said it's very situational. Usually people would prefer to use a water bucket because they can use that multiple times. And they could also just use fire resistance in the first place. Would maybe be a bit more usable if the splash water bottles would stack like in the PvP snapshots where they could stack up to 16. There were also a couple changes to the creative menu. Again, not gonna go into all the details what changed exactly. You can also just read the patch notes for that. But in general, a couple more things actually got added to the redstone menu. For example, we have wool now next to skulk sensors. Those go hand in hand. Or we also have the big drip leaf in there, or the chest boat. So pretty much all the things that are relevant to doing redstoning are in the menu now. Of course, there's still exceptions. For example, somebody might want to use a cake because this gives out a signal strength of 14, or a half-eaten cake gives out a certain signal strength, which in some cases might be exactly the right block, but yeah, I'm not sure if you should now put everything that is somehow related to redstone in there. I could also put white concrete in there because usually people like to place the redstone on top of it. Also, the biggest news still from last week is that items can be in multiple menus now. For example, the big drip leaf should also show up in the natural blocks. There it is. I think this one is also pretty neat. The spawner is now in the spawn egg section. So you can quickly make a lay spawner, for example, this way. So that's pretty nice. I think this was already the case last week. The dragon egg, which you previously had to give yourself with a command as well, is now also in functional blocks. But you can't really please everyone with this creative menu. I think it already got a lot better. But for example, I would like to have a flying machine section with pistons, slime blocks, and so on. It would be pretty neat. Could even put the dragon egg in there. Used it before. Dragon eggs fall slower compared to sand if you remove their supporting block. But yeah, there's so many things you could discuss about. For example, if you look at tools and utilities, the way the tools are sorted now is basically, I think, the progression in a normal survival world, so from wood to stone, iron, maybe gold in between, diamond, and netherite. Could also maybe just sort it by mining speed, where the golden tools would be the best ones. Or yeah, if you look at combat, instead of sorting the armor this way, leather, chainmail, iron, gold, why not just sort it by armor value? Chainmail is slightly better than gold, for example. If you look at the leg armor, especially +3 versus +4 on the chainmail. And iron is also definitely better than gold. So why this order? They can discuss about a lot of things when it comes to that. I think it's definitely nice that I already put some effort into it, but it's basically impossible to make the perfect system. Would maybe be nice if we could actually make our own menu. That would also be really welcome. Alright, that's all for today. Thanks guys for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.